go downhill. And let's get introduced to our next character.
Oh god.
Are you ready for this? 'Cause I wasn't.
I'm never ready for this because... Is it bad that the only thing I could think of is fucking bad because small?
Yeah, this is fucking way too awkward to deal with, by the way.
Oh,
Like, for example, that thing that it's making with the buildings?
Yeah.
That's an actual symbol for one of the faith.
It's on his pant leg.
It's also Jack's thing in it.
It's also on his necklace. It's everywhere.
Yeah.
Also, just a note, you cannot control the camera in that sequence.
No.
I don't know why, because I'm pretty sure
because this is early enough that they hadn't quite figured out that right stick is camera and that's it. And leave
they had figured that out. For just some reason, in that particular case, you can't control the camera at all. Not with the shoulder buttons, not with the right stick, nothing.
I mean, that's the case with the entire game. There's no point at which you can control the camera.
WASD actually is mapped to camera controls. I don't know where we can use them, but they are mapped. But he takes this remarkably well. Emmett Silk, is that you? Emmett, you have to help me.
Is that Emmett Silk? He's got a gun!
It's not a shoe bill.
It's not a shoe bill at all. So, small issue with the remaster is if you're not interacting with it after a certain bit of time, it just assumes you gave up and tries to close itself.
Oh no.
So you have to randomly click on it with a mouse to make it work.
Oh jeez. I don't like that at all.
Oh my stars.
That's why I kind of like using a controller, because I could just kind of wiggle the sticks around and be done.
Exactly.
Okay, so
this is San, by the way, getting lost and trying to find the Al-bhed primer. Do someone want to take the Al-bhed primer thing, by the way?
There is a, what would you call them, a race of people?
Yeah, I guess.
Called the Al-bhed in this game. If you're not aware, if you aren't aware, play the game. There you go.
I think that's just a blanket statement. We should act as if our viewers aren't aware, but like...
Well, I mean, we already told them up front. This is a spoiler.
Yeah.
Heavy,
so,
but
with the Al-bhed language, it is just a simple, I think it's a Caesar cipher.
It's a substitution cipher.
Yeah, you
but
just
they
take
actually straight up just use letters.
Yeah, you just take one letter and move it in the alphabet. So, like, A represents D or something like that. You get the idea.
Except in this, that they specifically made it so that, like, similar consonants were closely mapped and vowels were mapped to different vowels.
Right.
So that it would be pronounceable. Oh, look, there's the thing.
Yeah, I figured it out, finally.
Yeah, so if you go through the game, you will occasionally find what are known as Al-bhed primers. 26 of them, in fact. Gee, I wonder why. These have the practical effect of putting a letter into a sentence in Al-bhed. Basically, it translates it for you. You'll notice that beforehand, some of those letters were like grayed out. Others were in a little bit of a brighter pinkish purple, I think.
Yeah, it's blue for in Al-bhed, reddish, pinkish for it translated to English.
Right. So if you go through the game and you pick up all these, you slowly put together the language, and after a certain point, you can pretty much figure it out. It's not that hard. What they allow you to do is they allow you to take a completed save and take all primers that you've found and put them into the game as though you found them in the initial start point here. So there will be sequences where, oh, there's a hidden thing here. It's in Al-bhed. You're going to have to come back later and figure it out.
So here's the thing with it. I looked it up a little bit just to figure it out. This is kind of interesting. It wouldn't appear for us because it's in English. It uses English syntax.
Yes.
So to Japanese, when it translates, it's actually also translating the syntax, because the step to create this primer was take Japanese, translate into Romanji, which is the Latin alphabet, basically, version of Japanese.
Right.
Translate it into English syntax, and then use the cipher to substitute it.
Yeesh.
And the Japanese version of this has to undo all of that with the primer, so it's even harder for them to figure it out.
Yeah,
Meanwhile, us very lucky English individuals who played this game religiously, hi, how you doing? We're able to just basically read Al-bhed and translate it in our heads to know exactly what this person was saying.
I actually just completed the game, got a file with all 26 Al-bhed primers.
I just
never
asked
looked
Seuss
back
to give it to me.
Yeah, so that save, that is what was used. That is like an end game level save with all Al-bhed primers.
It adds a lot to the game, though. So
yeah, it's useful for a spoilered or like a chock full of spoilers playthrough like this, because the Al-bhed is spoilerific. You will not. It assumes that you're going to see that on your second playthrough, or at the very least late in the playthrough that you're playing. So a lot of the dialogue early on that is voiced in Al-bhed, you have no idea what they're saying because you don't understand. But it's pretty funny to see some of the reactions that Titus here has when somebody says something in Al-bhed, and he just kind of looks at them like a block of wood.
Oh no, there's some statements that don't sync up at all that we'll see in a bit here. But just like, I don't know. I remember really disliking Titus as a kid, and like he's kind of grown on me. I don't like him, but he's still like
he's not the worst Final Fantasy protagonist. He's not the best, but like he's just kind of a goofus. He's just kind of a goofus.
Yeah, I don't know. He's like most of Meg Ryan's roles, you know, just eh.
So
Do
there's.
we explain why we're hating on Meg Ryan?
We know about the scene. Everybody on the internet has heard about that scene. That's actually something that I do want to bring up now while I'm thinking of it. The voice direction for the English VA was terrible for this game.
Yeah.
The actors were not given sufficient direction for basically any of their lines. They were able to piece together some of what was being done just based on purely context clues. But I'll give you a hint. Everybody's heard of that whole thing where, Oblivion had its dialogue recorded alphabetically off of a fucking spreadsheet. That's this. That's basically how translation and voice acting work was done at the time, because the voice actors hadn't seen the game that they were translating for. Hell, half the time they don't even play video games. Like, you see Nolan North, he's played all the Uncharted games, but until he started his fucking YouTube channel, he hadn't played any of them. It was so, a lot of times with these actors, it's like, you can piece it together from context, sure, but what if you have no context whatsoever?
Yeah, what if you just sit... That's why... Oh god. The classic is still fucking... Oh god, what's his name? Picard. Oh good, we're all here.
Patrick Stewart?
There we go.
Yes.
Patrick Stewart's lines in Oblivion was just seemed confused.
Spent all this money on Patrick Stewart, gave him a fucking spreadsheet to work with.
Well, that's just like in hindsight, people kind of love Peter Dinklage for Destiny, you know?
Do they?
Yeah, there was a petition to bring him back for 2. He just wouldn't do it.
No, because he had such a bad experience with all of it and got hassled so much for his VA in the first one. I don't blame him at all.
It was a line read. It wasn't him trying to do a VA. It was just him reading the lines like, alright, I got him down. Shall we do a take? What do you mean that was the take?
Yeah.
By the way, I love that boss just gone.
Oh, it's not gone. Don't
We'll
worry.
see him later.
Back.
I had made it out of the frying pan and into the freezer.
And that's an optional comeback here thing. So.
I thought I was gonna die in this place.
Technically, I suppose.
Yeah, if you don't want, like, whose ultimate weapon is it?
I think it's Riku's
No.
is the...
I think it's Titus's.
Is it?
No, Titus's is the, No, Brotherhood is what you get, like, right at the beginning of the game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's...
Because I know Titus's you need to do the Chocobo race. But
Waka. I'm pretty sure it's Waka.
No, Waka's is winning the,
Blitzball.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, no, but all of the ultimate weapons are two-parters. The part 1 is the getting the thing to unlock the chest. Part 2 is finding the chest.
Fire.
Let's see. Karbalg is the Chocobo race and an area of the Calmlands. Nirvana is capture all the Calmlands stuff, and it's somewhere. Oh, it's Orin's. I think. Oh no, I'm sorry. It's I'm. Wow, that's really dumb. I misunderstood. It's the Onion Knight for Lulu.
What?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you can't even use Lulu.
Yeah. No.
in
Well,
that
no. None of them make any goddamn sense.
Yeah. No. It's gibberish.
Well, fuck it. Why not?
Because Masamune is hanging above the fucking path on Besaid.
Yeah. There's a lot.
I can't believe I remembered that off the hop.
I can.
My brain, it's just burnt into me, the lightning planes.
Oh yeah.
My God. That's Riku's.
There are mods and trainers that you can get to just do that for you.
Yep.
If you really don't want to. Like, let's be honest, we have all played this game enough where we don't really feel the need to fuck around with.
It's a program. It literally detects when the screen goes white and automatically hits the button.
I'll look into it. I might give it a few tries just for old time's sake, but that'll be a thing.
I can't help you with the Chocobo races, though. That you're on your own there.
Chocobo races are a nightmare.
I don't know. It's a very interesting start to this game, you know?
I agree.
Alright, are you ready for another line read? Hey, we need you to do some lip flapping. What? Just make up a line.
I need food.
No, I feel that, actually. Immediately after we're done this, I'm getting food.
What do you want?
Fair enough.
I need food. Flashback to Orin.
Your team lost because of you.
No idea what
This
this is so random.
It's been
So
10
why can
years.
Orin go back and forth?
Would you believe me if I told you magic bullshit?
Yes, but I didn't know if they explained it at all.
It's his connection to Jekt and also the fact that he's unsent.
Gotcha.
So that's actually a good point. Orin, if I recall, is from Spira? Is that the...
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Jekt and Titus here are not. They are from the Bahamut Dream. So Orin, because he's familiar with the whole situation and is connected to Jekt, he can basically pop back and forth. It's never really explored how. I'm pretty sure he just runs up to Sin and takes a dive into that howling anus that we saw.
You know, much like their relationship before Jekt became Sin.
So,
I am not sorry.
oh god.
I do find it interesting that, like, the unsent idea where, like, if they died violently and aren't sent, or if they died of anything with a strong emotion, they become this, or something like, they become the monsters of the world.
Well, see, that's the thing, actually. It's anybody. Any death. Every death has to have ascending in Spirit.
Oh, I thought it was just... That's why Orin could not. Basically.
Nope. He's technically a fiend. He's just strong enough of will and personality to retain his identity, essentially, in form. Same thing with, like, Seymour, the Maesters, etc., etc., etc.
Seymour, we're starting to go downhill. And let's get introduced to our next character.
Oh, God.
Are you ready for this? Because I wasn't.
I'm never ready for this, because... Is it bad that the only thing I could think of is fucking mad because small?
She's
little.
Fetish geared. She's like 15.
There's a lot there.
Time to fight monsters with leather daddies.
Oh my god, I didn't know this. I'm gonna cause it to happen. Apparently, Riku only has 3 fears. Fear of thunder, needles, and snakes. If she's used in front of a certain boss, she'll start yelling, snake, snake, snake!
Oh my god, that's amazing, and I love it.
God, there's so many details hidden in this friggin' game. Like, it's actually kind of sad that this is the last... Okay, Bear's gonna fight me on this if I say that. One of the last good Final Fantasy mainline titles.
I'm still gonna fight you on that, because I actually liked 15 as well.
You're wrong.
Wait, what the fuck is Dead Fantasy?
Oh, that was a animation by Monty Ohm where he put the Final Fantasy and Dead or Alive people against each other, and ass shot number 1.
I was gonna say, because apparently according to Monty, Riku was the hardest to work with because her legs don't work correctly with her body.
I believe that.
Yeah, I could see that. I think the rest that would be fun. What are you doing? Oh yeah, this dialogue is a choice.
Hey, let me go.
Grab him by the hair. We kill it? Only Riku's smart enough to be like, hold on. What is with the fins?
Yeah, I don't know.
Swimming.
Tell you to go down like a bitch. Like a bitch!
To be fair, she was just fucking hucking grenades at a goddamn bug monster, alright? I wouldn't want to get gut checked by her either.
No.
Fair enough. Although that, funny enough, establishes something that first-time players might want to know, which is fiends come in human form.
Yeah, that's actually one of the major things, is that the Al-bhed already know that fiends can disguise themselves as human, or at the very least they believe it to be so, which sets up stuff like 45 hours into the future.
Yeah.
Right? And if you didn't have the primer right now, you don't know.
Exactly.
Although, yeah, I do appreciate... I don't know, I always thought it was interesting that they're very superstitious themselves, despite their civilization basically being fuck superstition. I don't know what that's about.
Whatever.
He's miming swimming.
Oh, I know, but... Like, Riku's about to just straight up lie to us.
I don't understand.
So, Brother here, because his name is Brother,
He said you can stay if
he's
you make
Riku's
yourself
brother.
useful.
You understand me? All right, I'll work.
He comes up more in 10-2.
He does,
Is
in
like
fact.
basically the captain or the pilot of the airship that you ride around on. But like, it's
He's a
so
creep?
yeah, he's really weird. Like, they went with the like shirtless redneck in overalls vibe, and he's really creepy.
That's not great. Although, yeah, accurate.
All right.
That mohawk.
It's not even the mohawk. He's creeping on Yuna the entire time in 10-2.
It's true.
Oh, that's not good.
The whole time.
Especially considering they're, like, cousins? Question mark?
So, yeah, technically,
he's Al-bhedian.
Well, technically, Brother and Riku are Sid's kids, I think? Or
and
like,
Sid is Yuna's uncle.
Yeah, it's real weird.
It's cousins once removed. That's kissing cousins. It's fine. Ding, 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 ding.
I mean, Spira is equivalent to Alabama in some areas.
And no, that's not cousins once removed. That's straight cousins.
Is that just cousins?
If they're both Sid's kids and Sid is her uncle, then yeah, that's cousins.
Oh yeah, that's just cousins. Fuck.
So, to just
to bring us back.
Yeah, get out of that mud pit. Sphere Grid. We are going to be using, as you might have seen, the original Sphere Grid because it lends itself a little bit better to normal playthroughs rather than like challenge runs or like high speed run tactics. Because the arranged Sphere Grid is just blank. It's just nothing. You basically, everybody starts in the middle and you just spiral out wherever you want to go from there. With this one, it's a little more controlled. Everybody has their own set roles. I find it to be a little bit better in terms of just general gameplay if I'm not like trying to make Titus into a black mage or Lulu into Orin, basically.
But what if Lulu was Orin?
A thing I have done, and it's as silly as it sounds because the Moogle-like toys that Lulu fights with
has no power.
But there are ones that do. And there are ones that allow you to break things in half with Lulu as a melee fighter. It's very dumb.
Well, that's one of the interesting things. So 12 would try to improve upon this, but it would let you change what weapons everyone could use.
It's not active now, but there should still be some.
Well, this one is just like, no, Lulu uses Moogles, Orin uses a sword.
And then we should be able to salvage the big prize.
Meanwhile, it failed in improving it in several important ways, such as, head go on foot.
Which we will talk about in the 12 playthrough.
Yes.
It's Bear's favorite, so we try not to shit on it too much. By the way, to kid me, this was just some random excursion that happens for no reason, because I didn't have the primers to understand what the fuck they were doing down here. So you just... Oh, yeah, and this is where I realized, it didn't actually do anything.
Yeah, so that entire Sphere Grid tutorial is kind of a pain in the dick. Like, it's one thing that I really wish they fixed for the remasters because they fucking knew. It's not hard, but...
If you keep seeing, by the way, it come up with, like, the exit game thing, it's because escape leads to only that menu. Yeah. While the key under back is the one to exit out of all other menus.
So this is why I said it kind of feels a little bit better to play on a controller because the start button is your exit game menu. I think it's triangle that's your in-game menu button.
I'll give it a try for the next recording. For those wondering, I record the games and then we do commentary to show you behind the curtain, I guess. But
post commentary, baby.
Post commentary, best commentary.
But yeah, like, spoiler: we found an airship, which comes up later because they're rare.
Spoiler alert: things come up later.
Yeah, if you don't have the fucking primer, you don't know that shit. To you, they just turned on a machine for some reason. And are really excited about it for some reason. And then you leave. Yes, Titus, just hit it. Don't use any of your knowledge. Just boom, 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 boom. Check it.
If it's stupid and it works...
Is it really that stupid?
So, one thing that I do want to bring up, and this is just a minor thing. They kind of explain it away with the fact that Titus is a blitzball player.
Oh yeah, he's underwater.
No one can hold their breath for this long.
Except Guybrush Threepwood.
No,
we've gone beyond it.
Guybrush Threepwood can hold his breath for what, 10 minutes?
10 minutes.
10 minutes.
How long do you think this takes?
Yeah.
Fair enough.
So, I can't think of Blitzball without thinking of the 8-bit theater comic.
Oh my god.
And then making fun of it by calling it Drown Ball.
Yeah.
In which fighter wins but also loses. He wins by being the last player standing, but he loses because he didn't drown. But yeah, I mean, Blitzball still carries through other programs. There's a Blitzball League on my server of Final Fantasy XIV.
How? Like, you never did explain that to me. How do they do
I will
that?
have to record it to show you, because if I told you, it would sound like insane ramblings.
It already sounds like insane ramblings because people are willingly playing Blitzball.
I like the Blitzball minigame in this.
No, you don't. You only think
How do
you
I
do.
send this file to Bear so he can play all the Blitzball minigames?
Yeah, about that.
Do it, nerd. Oh yeah, so you guys ready for the maneuver that never comes up again?
I know, right?
Use the pincer maneuver. Alright. Never comes up again. Alright.
Well, I mean, this is kind of along the lines of what I was talking about before when we were attacking that oil tanker or whatever. They try to mix the bosses up. There are going to be dead ones where it's just fight it, hit it, do it. But there are also ones where it's like, oh, you actually need to think tactically and use environmental effects to do things.
Mm-hmm.
There's going to be a boss later on where it's not an optional fight. You do have to fight it.
Mm-hmm.
But if you lose, you don't die, per se. It is possible to die in that fight, but you actually just get shoved off of the path and have to take an alternate route, and you don't
Oh, the Chocobo Eater.
Yeah, the Chocobo Eater.
That really fucked me up the first time I played this, because I didn't know.
It fucks everyone up, because you don't think of it.
Mm-hmm. But no, I think it's interesting. I wish they did more with it, if that makes sense.
Yeah, a lot of times it does seem...
12 has a couple of bosses like that, except that they're loose conditions.
Yeah, all I can remember about 12's bosses is the demon wall. And
that's
like,
what I was talking about. It's a DPS race. Same with the Chocobo Eater.
And like, genuinely, it became one of those things of like, I ran into that as a kid after owning Final Fantasy XII, and that's where I stopped.
Yeah.
I'm excited to get back to that. Thank you for the understanding of doing this first, Bear.
Oh, no. But by all means.
I hope you're enjoying this. I know that 10's not your
I like
favorite.
10. It's not my favorite, but I like it. We're not going to play my favorite Final Fantasy game.
War of the Lions?
That's right.
Genuinely, if you record it, I will join you on commentary for it. Just, Zahn is not smart enough to play that game.
I mean, that's fair.
I don't know how to say it. Which is sad, because it actually seems like a really cool setting. It's just like...
Yeah.
I love that they explode into the spirits that make them. That's cool.
Yeah, it's... I think it's really neat. The major question that I have is that's not ascending.
Yeah,
but it works like one, I guess.
One of the many theories about that is that because they aren't sent in the traditional sense, that's actually what's causing the rise of so many monsters in just the world at large, is that the more monsters they kill, the more these souls are released, and the more that aren't sent, it's just building on top of itself. Because
it's just cycling.
It's just monsters are being created and killed after killing people who aren't sent, and then more monsters come, and then more and more and more, and it's just... You get the sense that you're in a world that is basically kind of in a holding pattern, waiting to see what the next apocalypse is going to be.
Would you suggest perhaps that it's in a death spiral?
No, because there is a way
death
out.
Spira?
That was the joke.
Oh, look at that! It looks like an airship.
Nope, let's never speak about this. Okay,
we'll call it
up
the
front,
Enterprise.
it's much more visible when you see it like this in HD. It's not clear as mud in fucking...
Oh, absolutely. Standard definition through composite cables. Holy God, this just looked like a muddy pile of trash.
It was just like, cool, rocks.
Like,
I guess
what?
the prize is under those rocks.
Yeah. It's it's a little weird because I feel like this game, more than a lot of others, would do really well with the remake treatment, like Final Fantasy VII got.
Yeah. Oh yeah. It looks like 9's the next one up, though. Okay, so we are getting X3. Quote, after Final Fantasy VII is done. Final Fantasy VII Remake is done, which is... They don't even know how many parts that's going to be, so... Oof.
My guess is it's going to be 3 more parts, so they'll split it up into quarters.
But we're also getting a Hojo side story.
We already got that. It was called Final Fantasy VII Dirge of Cerberus.
Hojo.
Right on. Every time we do that, because it's happened 3 times so far, I'm just gonna flash the abridged thing.
Thank you.
Here to help. And Titus dies. You are surrounded by water.
Yeah, that's salt water. Don't drink that.
I guess I'll just stay on this raft until I starve to death or die of dehydration. You are in an ocean surrounded by water. You're right! Did you stick your hand in a jellyfish? Sorry, that door monster skip kills me.
We need to have a door monster count?
Yes, we're gonna have that
What is
too.
your name?
Okay, just put it up in the corners, like left, right, top, middle.
You really do understand.
I got this. Why did you look at this outfit and think it was a good idea?
Right?
Who? Titus or Riku?
Yes.
Everyone thought we were a fiend.
Well, Riku's kind of makes sense in terms of it's a diving suit.
No, it isn't. It's bondage gear.
I mean, yes, it's bondage gear, but you can make the argument that okay, it's a
diving suit with belts over it to make it into bondage gear.
Does anyone else find that really weird? That just randomly she speaks French for 5 seconds?
You're not an Al-bhed hater, are you?
I don't even know
We
what
meet
an
you.
Al-bhed
It's like,
is.
bitch,
And
that never
ash
comes
shot
up
number
again.
2.
so the actual Al-bhed translation O is Y, U is O, and I is U. So literally, we means you.
Oh, right.
Also,
they thought
we
that
in
was
French is yes.
Shit. Wait, hold on. Alright, we're gonna edit that. No, I won't. I'm too lazy.
It's fine. Don't worry too much about it. If they want to see the actual translations, there are many translation guides for people to do this shit by hand.
But Zeus,
and
the internet's gonna know I'm dumb.
Engulfed in this light.
And
I just said things as they
At least
came
you
to
have your
mind.
looks.
But then I started to wonder.
Now we get the sin toxin joke.
Did I?
Why are you doing this? Sin toxin.
I have to be honest, that is actually one of the hardest things about this early game, is I just don't like that. Because it's very much, let's smooth over the problem by just excusing his dumb shit behavior.
Oh, you catch that line?
I'm sick?
Yeah.
Because of Sin's toxin, yeah.
It must have been some kind of dream.
There is no Xanarkand anymore. Sin destroyed it 1,000 years ago.
Like,
so no one plays Blitzball
the funny thing
there.
is, you could still do this smoothing over with an easier logic without giving an excuse, which is, oh yeah, Sin transmits random shit to people. So you probably just got transmitted the memories of someone from Xanarkand.
In a better, better written excuse, definitely I could see that. And I think that's kind of what they were trying to go for with the toxin excuse. It just kind of makes your brain all fuzzy and you think things that, aren't true. But, like, it's just a case of it needed to be better written, and it wasn't.
That's gonna come up a lot.
You play Blitzball?
Though, I will say it, they actually do a good job in the writing of kind of disguising what's actually going on. She says, oh, Xanarkand was destroyed 1,000 years ago. It was an actual place. Titus remembers it. Theoretically, it could have existed and he could have been from there, so they kind of throw the time travel angle at you a little bit.
It's suggested without being explicit.
Yeah.
So that you get into that idea of like, oh, it was a time travel thing.
You'd rather stay here?
Yeah.
Which is what Titus believes, if I remember.
He basically thinks that all the way up until, like, he actually figures out what's going on.
I like that, though. Yevon says it's a holy place. First time we get introduced to the concept of Yevon.
And the first time we get introduced to the idea of, people might get upset if we say some weird things. Maybe the religious organization running everything is a fistful of tyrants that only want to take the tithings and extend their own lives. Maybe.
Well, I mean, hold on now. To be entirely fair, Maester Seymour's hair requires a lot of upkeep.
What?
It's like a third of all the church proceeds right there.
What? Like he's the fucking 40k emperor? They have to sacrifice a bunch of people to keep his hair gel intact?
No. Just like the money. Just like...
This is something I never figured out. Is Sin following him this whole time?
Yes.
Because he just shows the shit up here, and I was like...
It absolutely is implied that it's following him, because it's Jekt.
Who was not a great father.
Also,
Sin is not a great father. Jekt was not a great father, and also Lulu has... slightly larger than average breasts.
And also slightly too many belts.
Yeah.
And there are too many ass shots of Riku.
So,
oh my god.
Did anybody else just catch the fact that when the ship, like, shunted him over to the railing, he landed like he put his back up against something solid?
Right.
Like the railing was like directly behind the small of his back or something like that. There was no railing there. He would have just gone over the side of the thing because there was nothing there. His head probably would have cracked.
And that's the end of this first recording. I hope you guys enjoyed this. It was actually quite a lot of fun to make so far.
Oh.
Yeah. I
dig it.
Well,
next time we will find out where the fuck it is we end up. Take care, guys.
Have a good one. And remember to, as always, like, comment, and subscribe if you enjoy this content. Until then, we'll catch you on the flip side. Bye.
Bye.